And if you can, dear, go ahead. If you are in a safe location, please, please drop into a meditative state with us here. Allow yourself to open up and expand even in this moment. Allow yourself to be open and receptive. If you can, close your eyes. If it helps you to feel connected, you may keep your eyes open. But let's make this journey together. And what this vessel said is absolutely true. It is for certain that we can be in your location where you are, even if you are watching this video at a future date, we can certainly be present with you. There are even many of you who are experiencing this. You call our name, Judah, at some random point of any particular day without any specific connection, such as speaking to this vessel or watching a video and so on, and immediately you feel our presence. We are giving you this confirmation of the relationship, so that you will begin to establish your own communication and connection. Now, with us or whomever you want to work with, there was a gentleman who submitted a question this week, and we will just go ahead and address it here in the channel. He said, well, sometimes when I call the name of Judah, I'm concerned that my guardian angels and guides might feel slighted in some way. Or if I ask my guides for something in particular, I don't want my guardian angel's feelings to be hurt. This was the gist of the question. Let's just address that, because he's not the only one who has this thought pass through his mind. This thought originates from a condition common to humanity, common to all, and it is this. It is separateness. It is separateness. You see, this is the conditioning of the human mind, is to always see things as us and them, he and I, this party and that party, this group and that group, and so on. And so it is normal that you would tend to project this onto your relationships with angels and other cosmic relationships. But you see, we're never in competition with one another. It is very easy for one of us to step aside and allow the other to take the helm, so to speak, take the wheel. We are not ever operating in separateness. Now, when I say we, I'm speaking of very high vibrational, highly evolved and enlightened beings, such as angels and archangels, and there are many other interstellar races in high dimensions, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, and on into the 13th dimension, is where all is enveloped in the vast ocean of consciousness, and there is no separateness at all of any individual soul whatsoever. So you see, we are not separate. We see ourselves operating together, not even more so than just a team, as one entity. You see, when your thumb and pointer finger pick up something, your little pinky doesn't shout and say, wait, that was my job. What are you doing? Well, that's silly, of course. And so neither do we in any way feel slighted if you ask another entity, an angel, source, Michael, Raphael, yes, Samuel, whoever you ask, it matters not to us. Now, there are different gradations of enlightenment and evolvement within various different beings, and it may make sense at one time or another to call on one over another, but that is, we are all here in service. You say no separateness there. Now let's get back to faith. Well, first, that is a loaded word because it has so much religious baggage. And so we just want to clear up the concept for you. Understand that you do not have to have any sort of belief system, even a belief in God to have faith. And in truth, you all have faith at all times. When you sit in the chair, you have faith. The chair will hold you up. When you get in the car, you have a certain amount of faith. It is likely that the car will start and get you to where you are going, and so on, you see. And so the question is, how are you directing your faith? Are you directing it to the things you fear? You see, fear is just faith pointed at something that you do not want. So be careful. Be careful, my dears, where you point your faith. But your faith is always active. Always active. Every thought that you think is lending faith to that thought. And if you think it a little longer, you're adding more faith to the thought, and a little longer, more faith to it, more faith to it, more faith to it, and then faith grows, be it positively oriented or negatively oriented. Some of you have negative fear-based faith about your children. Well, my child is this, you say. Maybe you say my child is not very bright, or doesn't do well in school, or is lazy, and so on. And every time you're saying those things and thinking them, you are adding more faith to that prognosis. Be careful. Be careful, dears. Don't let people say that you have terminal cancer or this or that. Cancel that, cancel that, and redirect your faith to what you want. Imagination is a wonderful place in which to expand your faith and begin attracting to you what you want. If something is happening in your life that you don't want to happen, you have either consciously or unconsciously, likely unconsciously, lent your faith to that. Now, real faith is light as a feather. It produces miracles. And there are many miracles to be had. And there are many who can create miracles. And you would be one of them if you can give your faith to that. Yes. And what is the miracle that you desire? And can you give up your resistance around it? And when you give up your resistance, then you find the miracles flowing in. And some of you are just asking for way too little. You're asking for way too little. Your expectations are entirely too low. If you look around you at the 3D material realm and you use that as your gauge, you will not ask for enough. Not ask for enough love, enough joy, enough freedom, enough peace, and enough purpose and passion. You see, and so don't settle for less than. You see, we were sharing through this vessel the other day. Did you know that in heaven there is absolutely zero lack? No one in heaven says, well, I can't do that because I don't have enough money. You see. And in the scriptures, the Holy Scriptures, you find that it is said that the streets are paved with gold, and the gates are made of pearls. Well, we won't get into discussion about whether or not that is a truism, but we will say the spiritual principle underlying it is absolutely and certainly true. There is no lack. There is no lack in higher realms. No one checks the bank account. before they do what they do in higher realms. We are completely free of all such bondage and constrictions. So let your imagination run free and run wild and create big in your imagination. And don't feel silly about it or childish. Go ahead, and you might be surprised what you will bring right to your door. Faith is an area, faith is absent of effort. Absent of effort. It is effortless.